out of your day for being here. Real quick, my name is Dylan Blevins. I'm a business analyst at AEM. Been with AEM for a little over 2 years, and I'll help Jackie facilitate this, even though she'll be doing most of it. But yeah, so basically this webinar is going to be giving us a good overview of the Connect tool within CEDS. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass off to Jackie. I think we have a couple polls for you guys.
Thanks, Dylan. All right, and I'm Jackie Hughes. I'm also a business analyst with CEDS. And yeah, okay, we're going to start this poll, and there's just 2 of you on right now. So participate if you can. I'm going to skip over one poll, but I'm going to launch. Hopefully you'll see this on your screen. So which CEDS tool are you more acquainted with? Is it Align or Connect? It's Barbara.
And what if I don't know?
That's okay. I come off mute and say that. That's perfect. Okay. So we see Align. I was thinking about this question myself. I'm like, which one do I feel more comfortable with? I would definitely say Align at first, but recently we've been doing so much with Connect that I don't know. I think I'd still go with Align. So agree with the other participants. So okay. Well, let's jump right on in, and hopefully, I think I might have to end. Let me close the poll, and hopefully the poll went away. If not, you might just have to exit out on your screen. And let me show you our agenda for today. So introductions we've done, the poll we just did. Any outstanding questions? I noticed on the registration for this webinar, it was a lot of the same folks that registered for the Align. So let's see if there's any questions. Maybe I'll ask that again at the end if more people join. So, okay, so today, 2 reports that I want to talk about in Connect. Select elements, see connections, select connections and see elements. I encourage you to do this along with me. Dylan will drop a link to CEDS in the chat. You do not have to be logged in to do these reports. I'm going to share my screen in just a second, and I'm not going to log in just so we all kind of see the same view and access to the same connection. So I do want to point out the reports where I'm going to talk about today in Connect are for connections. If you're not logged in, any connection that's been shared publicly on the CEDS website. So we have, if you're not familiar, you can keep your connections private with just you and whoever else you put on your connections. You can share with some, or you can share with all, and all means that obviously anyone can see it. So let me pull up CEDS. So Dylan dropped the link in the chat for CEDS. And if you're on with my line, please come off mute, interrupt me, tell me to slow down, tell me to repeat a step, ask questions. It can be related or unrelated to Connect. It's totally fine. This is meant to help you all. And so that's why we're here today. Okay, so I'm on our CEDS homepage. And I have something I want you all to do before we jump into Connect. So if you are on our homepage, and you go to Elements, at the top, select Elements, and you'll see this welcome that we just released in February, our version 12. So you can view the DES or view version 12 elements. I want you to select the middle box there, rectangle, and select View version 12 elements. And up here you can see where you can search for elements or a keyword. And what I want to encourage you to do is pick a word of interest for your reporting. Maybe there's a topic that your state's focusing on or a buzzword that you've seen recently in education news, and you're just curious what we have. Go ahead and type that in the search here. I'm going to type incident because I kind of focused on that with Align too. It should spin, and it's going to give you some results. So I chose incident, and I was given 33 elements that either have incident in the name, it's mentioned in the definition, or in the option sets. pause for a second to give everyone an opportunity to do that. If you want to come off mute or drop in the chat and tell us a word that you searched for, feel free to share.
I definitely should have entered another word. I have 402 records.
Oh no. What'd you do?
I chose
First name, Barbara?
LEA. LEA.
Oh, LEA. Yes, yeah, there you go.
That makes sense, though.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, incidents gave me 33. When I did first name too recently, I had a lot of records to display. So, all right, so for incident, you can see here lots of options. I want everyone, like, if you're, so like Barbara chose LEA, she might choose one element, she might change her word, whatever she wants to do. You can't mess this activity up. So I'm going to choose discipline reason as one of my focus words. So these are a list of our elements. If you want to read more about discipline reason, you can click to expand it. It tells you the definition. It tells you the option set. Down here, you'll see related domains, and then you'll see a more at the bottom. If I select more, which it pops up on a new screen, and this is the way I like to view the elements when I'm wanting to read about them, because it looks nicer, and for me, it's easier to read. So discipline reason is the element that I'm going to focus on. Thanks, Barbara. She said LEA 402 results, LEA identifier 1. Okay. So whatever word you picked, remember, jot it down if you need to. I need to remember that mine was discipline reason. So Dylan, help me remember that. And now we're going to jump to connect. So if you go up to the top, we were in elements, and you move to the right, we have our tools. There's a line that we talked about last week. And now you can select connect. And again, you do not have to be logged in today into CEDS to do this. If you want to, you are welcome to, but you don't, not necessary. So here you'll see use. So this is where you can find an existing connection, or you can utilize the reports and analysis. So we've talked about elements, grabbed a word of interest, and now I'm going to show you how to search for a connection real quick. So when you come to our connection page, you'll see featured connections, which is just the most recently shared connection. So you can see the EdFax immigrant first school years 22 through 2025 was shared recently, IDEA, etc. So anytime you go to search for a connection, I just want to emphasize the importance of our descriptors, or what we call like categories. But these are important when you build a connection that you might share with all. It's also important when you're just searching for a connection. So I'm going to go to the categories and kind of show you. We have CRDC, which some of you might be familiar with, EdFax, Generate. You can search by just disabilities, iPads, and so forth. I'm going to grab EdFax just to show you all. So by grabbing EdFax, it's going to narrow it down to the descriptors. And I'm going to jump into, I'm going to choose 20, 21, and 22, and just the directory. So you can see right here on my screen, I'm going to highlight quickly this section. These are the descriptors. So when this connection was built, all these descriptors were added, which helps researchers or any organization or state that is looking to see what connections are inside CEDS. Maybe they don't want to reinvent the wheel. Like, why would we build this connection if Mississippi has shared it with everyone, or CEDS has built it for us, or another work group has? These connections are important. So I just want to call that out, that you can search by these descriptors within a connection, but also if you're building a connection, that there is value and importance in the descriptors that you pick, because it will determine how much it appears in a search. So just a quick little tidbit on Connect. If you were following along with me, you can go back in this top left corner and select Connect. And now let's get into the fun part, the reports. So you're going to select Utilize Reports and Analysis. And there's just the two we're going to talk about today. So select connections, see elements, or select elements, see connections. So I want to start on the right-hand side with select elements, see connections. This is a way for you to maybe take a list of elements that you have right now in your system, your data system. And you might go, okay, we have all these elements related to incident and discipline in our system. What connections, what reports already exist using those elements we have in our system that we could, like a question that we could answer? So I'm gonna show you an example of that. So you can select one or more CEDS element. This is why I made you search for an element like Barbara picked LEA and then LEA identifier. I'm gonna do, I searched incidents and then I picked discipline reason, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Dylan. But I'm gonna show you what you can do. You can search by the word, or you can jump in. I'm gonna focus on K-12 because it looks like we have mainly K-12 folks on the call. I'm gonna jump into K-12 student. And then I'm gonna jump, there's discipline. And then we also have incident that is not sticking out to me right now. But I'm gonna check the box. I wanna see discipline reason. I'm gonna grab the element disciplinary action. And I might have to, oh, there's incident way down there. And then inside incident, I might grab incident date. So I'm gonna pretend I have all these elements in my system on behavior that maybe we've just added. And I'm curious what exists inside CEDS, what reports that can help us. So incident behavior, and let's do weapon type. And there's incident, discipline reason down here. I'll grab two just to see. And incident activity down here, I'm gonna grab. This is a new element that we added in version 12. And I can't remember, I might pick on, I think Doris is here. She might've been part of the conversation with one of the states on adding incident activity. Or maybe it was Barbara. So now I'm gonna go to next. I've selected several elements and show you what happens. So now here's all the elements I grabbed. Discipline reason, incident activity, incident behavior, and so forth. You can expand all or go one at a time. And what this is gonna do is show me discipline reason. This element shows up in 3 connections that have been publicly shared on CEDS. So what this means is I could then grab this connection and say, okay, what other elements are inside this connection that I would need in order to answer this CRDC data collection? This one's 2013, 2014, but just to give you an idea. And then I can jump down here to incident activity, and it says no connections contain this element. We just added this element in February. So no, there's not an existing connection that has added this element yet. If I jump into incident behavior, you can see I have 11 connections, again, that have been publicly shared, that contain this element. So crime, violence, and discipline incident data. And then it tells you the description. You see some CRDC show up. I'm not going to click through all of these, but this just kind of shows you discipline reason gives me 1. If you wanted to grab a whole report of all of these, you go here and gives you a PDF. It often takes a minute or 2 to download. And then it's going to give you this big list, which is really nice if you were thinking about taking all these elements and going, okay, so which connections overlap, right? Is 2013, 14 here, here, and here, and here the same connection? Well, this is a great starting point. We could take this connection, give it to our IT group, and be able to answer whatever the question in the connection is about. So offenses, you could take these elements and do that. Okay, you can always go back and select more elements, or you can start over. Doris, you have your hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, Jackie, is there a way to filter? You have this whole list of elements. Is there a way to filter to show just the reports that overlap?
Great question. There is not. But when I show you the next report, select connection, see elements, I think that's going to show you the view you're interested in. It will give you a list of the connections you pick and the elements that overlap. So, but no, that's a great, Doris, enhancement. I'm going to tell Dylan to remember that. We keep a list of enhancements that, like during webinars, people suggest. So that's a great thing to add, though, if it could highlight the overlapping connections that are in common. So, all right, any questions here? Did I lose anyone? Also, if you're logged in and your state has a lot of connections that you have, like that you manage or are a type of user on, those connections would show up too. So your list might look a little different than mine. Okay, I'm gonna jump over then to, if you are following along with me, you can select more connections. You can go to reports and analysis or connect. I'm gonna jump all the way to connect in case someone's just looking at the screen still. So we're gonna jump back into the utilize reports and analysis. We looked at the elements and saw what connections they shared in common. And now we're going to do the opposite and do select connections, see elements. So, remember in a second, in case you're following along. I do want to point out the select elements, see connections. I recently ran that report because someone had posted in our open source community about deprecating an element, and we do sometimes deprecate elements inside CEDS, and that's a really great way for me to search that element and go, okay, how many times has this element been used in a connection, if it has at all? And if it has, then I know what file specifications or reports it would, impact. So if you were logged in and had a lot of connections within your state, that's a really good report to run. If you are considering deprecating elements, you might go, oh, wait, we actually use that for this EdFacts report or this IPEDS report, and just the impact that would have on those reports. Okay, so select connection, see elements. This allows you to select one or more connections, and it also allows you to generate like a consolidated report across, and I'm going to show you all this. So this looks similar to that page I showed you on how you would search for a connection. I'm going to do civil CRDC first. If anyone wants me to focus on another category, drop it in the chat and I can do that too. But I'm going to do CRDC and I'm going to do EdFacts. A lot of us are familiar with EdFacts and CRDC. So I hit that magnifying glass for search, and there you see civil rights data collection and then EdFacts. So there's lots of different categories I could select. For CRDC, I'm going to just select the one that's there, and I'll choose discipline. Discipline, you can choose up to 10. And choose this one as well. And now I want to go back to my categories because I want to look at CRDC connections, and I also want to look at EdFacts connections and see what elements might be the same in these connections. So I just hit that close or open. So I grabbed the connections I wanted from CRDC, and now I'm going to go to EdFacts, and I'm going to pretend it's 2021, 22. And I want to do dropouts because I'm focusing on dropouts. Maybe I'm about to do grades offered, and let's do, oh, that's a CRDC one. And I'll just throw a directory in here just because. So once I've grabbed all the connections I want, you can only do up to 10. you want to select next. It might take a minute. Okay. So what you see on your screen here is the elements and their path. So like where the elements coming from. Is it coming from K-12 domain or workforce or early learning? And then you see the name of the connection. So there's my directory. I grabbed dropouts. I grabbed grades offered, and there's my CRDC. You can tell though that this is going to get cut off. And I'll show you that part too, but I don't want to scroll too much for you all, but you can see here, this tells me that calendar session school year, the element school year, is going to be used in directory. It'll be used in grades offered. It's also used in discipline and so forth. So I'm going to scroll here to show you, here's grades offered, and it can show you the connections. Now, the con, as you can probably tell right now from me sharing my screen, is, okay, that's a lot of scrolling up and down, right? Okay, grades offered is in these 3 connections, but I can't remember what they are because the title's not here. So you can pop on over here and go to options, change view, which can show you all the elements, CEDS elements only, or user defined elements, which I'll do in just a minute. But I want to show you how you can download the whole report. You can download it in Excel or a PDF. Show you what the PDF looks like. Maybe. Okay. I'll cut off one here, but there's 5 pages that shows you elements, taken all the elements from all of these connections and then showed you where there might be overlap. So there's ethnicity. So this is also a great report you could run too. If you had several, connections, or someone's new has come to your organization that's kind of taking over, and you can go, okay, well, grab these 4 connections that relate to EdFacts. Maybe it's free and reduced price lunch, directory, and membership, and run this report, and you can see all the elements that are needed and where they, overlap too for those EdFacts reports. Right, I'm gonna X out of that and then show you, if you change the view, you can do CEDS elements only. Maybe. Okay, I'm not sure what happened to CEDS, but there's the user defined. And what this means is these are the elements that when the connection was built, they didn't exist in CEDS. Sometimes it's a matter of no one went back into the connection to update it, whoever built the connection, or sometimes it's that it still hasn't been, a proposal hasn't gone through the open source community yet. So this also gives you a great way to, especially if you were focused just on connections that maybe your state has built, go, okay, what are all those elements that we identified that we didn't have in order to answer this report. And this gives you that list that you can then take and pop over the open source community that we touched on last week and submit issues that you need elements added to CEDS. So you could start over, select more connections, or change your view again to all elements is how it will default to. So any questions on any of those reports? Want me to go back and highlight anything? So again, this feature, select connection, see elements, just allows you to, instead of grabbing each individual connection and printing out the list and going, here are the elements you need to your team, you can go and grab multiple connections and have a big list printed out and be able to provide that. So It also allows you to sometimes grab connections and go, okay, if we wanted to start looking more into workforce, what connections exist? What elements would we need to add to our system in order to start producing some more workforce related reports? So, all right, I'm going to pause for a second. I've done a lot of talking and just see if anyone has any questions. Thank you, Dylan, for dropping the line. Yeah, and if you were, some of you might have been on the Align. If you have any questions about the Align webinar, feel free to ask those too. If I went too fast last week or you want to be added to an Align map, then let me know. Otherwise, that is all I have today for the the reports to share with you within Connect. Again, if you were logged in, then you likely saw under Connect an additional report that you could run, or in that you could dabble into My Connect. But you need to be logged in and have connections or Align maps in order to do that. Okay. If you have questions or you want your own meeting to kind of ask state-specific questions or organization-specific questions, please reach out to us at ceds@ed.gov. We're here to help you and see how we can best support you all. And so don't hesitate to ask questions through our email. You can also subscribe on our website to get our latest newsletters and see what's happening inside CEDS. So thank you all for coming. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thursday afternoon and enjoy this 30 minutes to get some work done or go eat lunch, I hope. So thank you all again and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, thanks, Doris.